Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Gopi Krishnan, working as Associate Professor in the Department of Aerospace Engineering at SNS College of Technology, Coimbatore. Now we are going to see the video lecture on the course Fatigue and the Fracture Mechanics. So this is going to be the syllabus for the course. Right now we are going to see the unit number 3 titled as the Physical Aspects of Fatigue. The course objective for the course fatigue and fracture mechanic is that this is going to be the course where we will be learning the theoretical and the practical aspects of the concept of fatigue and fracture mechanics. And after the study of this content, the students can be able to get the information on how the material gets failed in a given application. So the main objective of this course is that the students can be able to get the reason for how the material is failed and under what conditions the material gets failed, even though the stress level is very low, but still the material gets failed in some applications, and how the failure occurs and what are the reasons behind it. And especially this objective is focused on the aerospace structures and the composite materials. Unit number 3 is titled as Physical Aspects of Fatigue. These are the contents we'll be studying in the unit number 3. The introduction about the fatigue life for the given material in the given application, and what are the different phases of fatigue failures occurring over the materials, and the introduction about the various phases such as crack initiation, crack growth, and the final fracture will be discussed in detail, and what are the different dislocations the material faces when there is an application of the loads over the given component, and how do the surfaces react, or how do the surfaces will look like after the fatigue failure occurs over the given component. That will be studied in detail in the unit number 3. This is going to be the introduction part about the fatigue failure over the given materials. And before getting into the concept of fatigue failure, we must know the very simple methodology of how to identify when a component or a material gets failed under the loading condition. So, for example, if you are giving a pull force or push force over a given material, the material faces some kind of deformation over its surface. For example, if you are applying the tensile force over the given component in two sides, the material will be subjected to the tensile loading, whereas when the compressive forces are acting over the given material in two sides, the material will be subjected to the compressive forces. So, when the material gives the resistance over the applied load, the material gets failure at some point. For example, if the material is a brittle material, the deformation it undergoes after the loading condition, the deformation is always very larger, such that it cannot be able to withstand the resistance, it cannot be able to produce the resistance for the applied load, so suddenly it fails. So if you take the practical example of the brittle material, you can take it as a cast iron material in which the loads can be carried by the cast iron material. You can apply any amount of load over the given material. That is, in other words, the load carrying capacity of the cast iron is very high as compared to the other iron and steel structures and materials. Whereas if you are applying the static loads or the dynamic loads to a certain extent, the cast iron behaves in a brittle way, which is nothing but the cast iron is unable to take the tensile loads or the shear loads or the compressive loads. So ultimately, the material it gives up all its bonding in the microscopic level, and the failure occurs suddenly. The material loses its strength, and suddenly the material it fails over the applied load. So this is going to be the phenomenon that can be seen in the most brittle materials. We can say the practical example of a biscuit, where if you are applying the loads at the two ends of the biscuit, and it suddenly fails, it suddenly breaks. That is the perfect example of the cast iron. So if you take a few other materials, the material can be able to give the opposite force, that is the resistance force, when the outside load is applied over the given component. Say, for example, if you are taking the steel material that behaves not in the brittle way, but it behaves in a ductile way. In other words, brittleness is just opposite to the ductility. Ductility, in the sense, the material can be able to give some kind of resistance when the load is applied over the given component. So what happens here is that when the load is applied, it reaches a certain level. That is, you have to apply some amount of force so that the material takes the stress level to a very high level. That means the resistance offered with the material is very high, and at some point it reaches the maximum value. And after reaching the maximum value, the material behaves in a different way. It loses all its strength, and suddenly the material fails and it gets broken down. So this is the phenomenon applicable for the most ductile materials. So we can take the practical example of a bubble gum or the chewing gum. When you are applying a tensile force at the ends of the bubble gum or the chewing gum, it suddenly does not break. That is, it does not behave in a brittle way. It behaves in a ductile way, which means that the failure of the chewing gum or the in which the failure of the chewing gum or the failure over the chewing gum or the failure over the chewing gum, it occurs, always occurs, it always occurs. The failure over the failure over the chewing gum or the failure of the chewing gum, it occurs in a tactile way, that it gives some resistance. The material is still stuck when, even when you are applying the tensile force, and at some point the cross section of the bubble gum, it drastically reduces, and at some point over the application of the extended load, it gets broken. So this is the behavior of the ductile and the brittle materials. So when you are applying a maximum amount of load, the material behaves in a different way, either in a brittle way or the ductile way. But when any kind of material is taken, when you are applying a certain amount of force, which is much lower than the ultimate stress you have applied in the brittle or the ductile material, right? The material does not get broken, isn't it? So the material, when it is subjected to a very low load, that is, the material experiences very low stress over its surface, the material cannot be able to get broken, right? It cannot be broken suddenly. But that small amount of force is fair enough to break the material under only one condition. The condition is that the material, that is, the stress over the given material, must be fed or must be supplied in a continuous way, right? The material has very low amount of stress that is fair enough for the material to take care of against the breakage or against the failure. But if the load is applied continuously or cyclically, right, so those loads are called as the cyclic loads or the repeated loads. That amount of force, the low force, is fair enough, is large enough to break the materials. So this is going to be the concept which is called as the fatigue. So many metallic structures, they experience the fatigue failures, and over the centuries we have studied a number of failures occurring over the given components in number of applications. And out of the uh, researchers made by a number of scientists or the engineers, they come to a conclusion that this is going to be a phenomena which is, even though if it is very low, the material still gets broken down. So they made some kind of contributions to the scientific world, and one of them was August Oler. He made some fantastic contributions, And he identified that even though a very small amount of force is applied over a given component in a cyclic way, it can definitely cause the damage of the material, ultimately leading to the failure of the material. That is the phenomenon he found. And over time, the scientists they predicted how the fatigue load is applied over the material and what is the methodology of breaking that takes place over the given material, and ultimately it leads to the study of the phenomenon, and they came to some sort of conclusion such as micro crack nucleation, crack growth, and the final fracture. So, engineering history has seen a numerous fatigue failures in various applications such as mechanical components, machineries, automobiles, the structures which are joined together by means of a welding strategy, aircraft, bridges, etc.